Hello everyone, today I'll be doing a very brief tutorial on how I create my Assetto Corsa videos, as well as teaching you on how you can make your Assetto Corsa look the best it can. So to begin with, let's just get the basics out of the way. So first things first, you obviously need to download Reshade. You just type in Reshade download and it'll bring you to this page. You then click download, download with full add-on support, wait for it to set up. Fine. You then choose acs.exe, DirectX, update Reshade and effects. So for this you want to sort of uncheck all and then check all, and then that way every single effect is downloaded. Once that's downloaded, you then do not install any of these add-ons. To me, these provide no benefit to me. So just click next, and you should be good to go. Once that's all set up, you should get a Reshade shaders folder in your Assetto Corsa main root folder. If not, create one and then use that as a place where you can put all your reshades that you make or you download from others. Now the next step is to load into a game. Now, once you're in Assetto Corsa, you should have no Reshade loaded, so this is what my base game looks like. What you need to do is you need to press the home button on your keyboard. This should take you to the Reshade menu. You should come up with the tutorial if it's the first time using it, but obviously I don't need to do that because I've used it before. Once you've done that, you just click through a few options and then you should get all this menu up. Now these menu options can seem quite overwhelming and quite confusing to begin with, but with time and effort you should be able to understand what they do and then therefore be able to create realistic graphics, or as realistic graphics as possible. I do make reshades, I do make my own reshades for each video. I will try and post as many of them as possible in my Discord server, which will be linked down below. But Reshade is a vital tool in making your Assetto Corsa look as good as it can be. Now that we've got Reshade installed, I'm going to show you how to install mods. So as you can see, I've got the Red Bull RB20 from Deploy Center F1 mods downloaded. What I'm going to need to do is I'm going to want to click on it, click Extract All, Browse, Assetto Corsa main root folder, which can be found through these files here. Select folder and then extract it. As I've already extracted it, I am going to be replacing these files, so replace all 188. Wait for that to complete, and then this page will be brought up. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to go and drag and drop into my Assetto Corsa, or this page here, and then from here drag and drop it into Content Manager. That's the way I've done it rather. That has worked every time for me. It may not work for some of you, but that's, in my opinion, is the best way to download these mods. So once that's now installed, I'll go over to Red Bull, and then as you can see, we've got the car right here. So now that we've got the basic stuff out of the way, I will be going into the more technical side of it, which is more time consuming and takes a little bit of time to learn. So I'm going to be talking about shader replacement first. Shader replacement is basically changing the properties of the material to make it be more realistic, be brighter, be darker. You can use it on the car, the track, and basically anything you see in the game. But first things first, you need to enable developer apps in the Content Manager. So what you want to do in the main menu is go to Settings, Assetto Corsa, Python Apps, and then enable Python Apps and enable Developer Apps. That will mean in the game you have access to all these different apps that you can use, but we're only really interested in one, which I will show you in a moment's time. So now that we've loaded into a game, what we want to do is we want to go find Objects Inspector. So you move your cursor to the right hand side of the game screen, click on the 4 squares at the top, scroll down until you see Objects Inspector. Now what you want to do is hold Alt on your keyboard and then click on whatever part you want to change. So for this example, I want to change the helmet. I want to make it a bit brighter and a bit more reflective, just for example. Then what we need to do is we need to go to the car's root folder. You can either do this by right clicking on the car in the game menu and then go into folder that way, or you go into the Assetto Corsa main root folder, content, cars, and then the car. From there you then want to go into your skins and then click whatever car you're using. So I'm using the normal Verstappen, so I will click on Verstappen. I then want to go into the ext config file of that skin folder. As you can see, I've already got some values here. These are preset values. These are not attributed to this helmet necessarily, these are just ones that I've used before. But now, once I've got this in here, I will put this in the description. I can change all these values to make the helmet a bit more realistic. So for example, if I want a bit in the sun to be a bit brighter, I will up this value to 0.5 and that will make this bit a bit more brighter. If I want to make it a bit more effective, I can up this value to, let's say, 100 and then change this max level to 0.5. It will then be a bit more reflective around the sides. Just increase that a little bit as well. And there you go. It's a bit more reflective now. So these values, ambient is kind of the general sort of brightness of it in the shadows and everything. Diffuse is how bright it is in sort of lighter areas. These are very basic general bits, by the way. Specular is kind of when the sun is reflecting off a material, how bright is that reflection. SpecularEXP is kind of how centered that reflection is. The lower the EXP, the less centered a reflection is, or a sunlight reflection is, and then the more EXP is how more centered a sunlight reflection is. That's the way I go off. fresnelEXP, I don't know the general or what the actual meaning of it is. I just consider it reflectiveness. Your fresnelMaxLevel, so the lower this is, the less reflective it has a chance to be. The higher it is, the more reflective it can be. And in the fresnelC, again, I just consider it reflection, but I don't actually know exactly what it does. Probably the clarity of the reflection. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. Just to talk about shader replacement a bit more. Shader replacement on tracks works exactly the same. So right click on spar, folder. Then what you want to do is you want to go to the extension folder, xt config file, and then paste your shader replacements in here, and it should work the exact same as the helmet or the car. Now I'm going to move on about editing textures and .dds files and what the best app to use is. So, for example, if I go into the Content Manager showroom for this will come up. Let's say I want to change the colour of this car, or the paint rather. I click on it, ksDiffuse, and it will bring this up. I export it to this folder here. I then go into that folder. Where is it? Up here. And then go into that folder, skins, Verstappen, and now this paint should be here. Now the best app to use, in my opinion, is paint.net. It does charge a bit, however I personally think it's the best app to use. You can use Adobe, Photoshop and all those other things, but in my opinion, paint.net is the best. Now from here, obviously you can use all these different tools and change the colour, and then what you want to do is you want to save as into this folder, so then it replaces this one, and you should be good to go about replacing textures. Now changing textures on a track can be a little bit more tedious, but I'll show it now. You open the track in the content tab. As you can see, I've already got a skin for it, so let's just manage that skin. But what you would do normally is you go skins and you create a skin, and this page should come up. Override textures, and then you've got all these different textures up here. So for example, let's say I want to change the colour of the curbs here. I then override that texture folder, and then this curve should come up here. Again, double clicking on it will bring it up in a photo editing app. Again, paint.net for me. I then change these colours, save it, and then I go into drive and I click skin here, and then the colours should be changed. It's a little bit more tedious, it's a little bit more trial and error, but it should work out for you. Right, now the next bit is probably the most difficult bit, and it certainly took me the longest to sort of get to grips with, and it's model swapping. Now, just to be clear, I'm not swapping the physics of the car. I don't know how to swap the physics of the car. I am purely talking about driving with a car, let's say the virtual reality car, the VRC car, and then in the replay I am swapping out this car for another model of car. So for this example, I'm going to be using deploy Senna's RB20, it is F1 2024 Red Bull car with the VRC Formula Alpha 2024 car. Now, the first step is to get the folder of both cars. Or actually no, first, make sure both cars are unpacked. As you can see, this one is unpacked. And then let's just check, this one's unpacked, this one's not unpacked. So I unpack the car, and then this folder should come up. The way you enable developer mode on Content Manager is to go to the About page and then click on this version quite a few times, just spam it, and then it should enable you to go into developer mode. At least I think that's how you do it, if I remember off the top of my head. So now that this car is already brought up, I then need to do the same for here, bring up both folders. Now, before you do this, one thing to make sure is you want to back up your VRC folder. So as you can see here, I've got VRC 2024 here. So if I ever goes wrong, I just drag and drop this into the game and it fixes itself out. So now that I've got both folders up, I can now begin to model swap. Now it is tedious, okay, it is a bit confusing, but just stick with me, follow my steps, and it should be alright. I only really know how to do it with these deploy Senna's F1 cars and SP mods also, if you know what that is. And I'm just another content creator who creates mods. I know how to do it for them. Okay, I'm sure the process for other cars is very similar, but for me personally, this is what works for me with these cars. So, first thing you want to do, you do not want to put the Formula Alpha cars into the Red Bull RB20 folder. The game has to recognise the car as, or the replay with the car, the VRC Formula Alpha. You do not want to mess up what the game reads of the car, otherwise it will not work. If you start putting the VRC stuff into the RB20 folder, it won't read it as VRC and the game will simply crash and not load. So you want to make sure the stuff from here goes into here. The first step you want to do, so as this car only has one KN5 file, which is just the RB20 KN5 file, the car model file, we can then get rid of these three down here. You want the first one, you want A. What you then need to do is you need to create a duplicate of this KN5 file. You then want to copy the name of the VRC car and put it the same as that, so they both match. You then want to drag and drop it in and replace it. The game still reads it as a VRC Formula Alpha KN5 file, except the contents of that file are slightly different. You then want to go to skins. Now for skins for the Formula Alpha car, whatever skin you use to drive with, you want to go into that skin folder. So I use the Benwood 14, so I just click this at the top and go into this folder. As you can see, I've already done some work with this, but it doesn't matter. So let me just delete all this really quickly, if I can. There we are, deleted. If I want to swap it out with the Verstappen, all I need to do is just simply copy and paste it into the skin folder. I am not changing the name of any folder, just simply putting in what needs to be swapped. Extension folder now. Again, it's exactly the same. As you can see, I've already done some work to it. Just copy and paste whatever's in the extension folder into the other extension folder. Very simple. Now the data folder can be a bit more difficult, but just change and replace what I do and you should be good to go. So for the VRC car, what you want to do is you want to, I've already deleted it, never mind. Okay, so you want to swap out cameras, car. You want to swap digital instruments, driver 3D, electronics, just to be sure, and then mirrors as well. You want to copy and paste them into the Formula Alpha 2024 and replace all 6. You then want to go into the LOD file of the VRC Formula Alpha and remove the 3 LODs underneath it. So I've kept the Formula Alpha 2024_A.kn5 because that's the only one I'm using, and delete the other 3, and then don't forget to save it also. If the car had multiple KN5 files, you have a fresnelC VRC, sorry, formula alpha 2024 underscore A, and then an underscore B1 as well underneath it, and in the LOD file you would have, let me just make sure to show you, where is it, here it is, and then you'd have a fresnelC VRC formula alpha 2024 underscore B1 as well. So whatever KN5 files you're using, make sure it shows in the LOD as well, otherwise it will not load. Now that's all swapped out, the data folder should be good to go. On your VRC formula alpha, this one doesn't have it because I've already deleted it. It would have a file for blurred objects. You need to delete that xt-config file, otherwise the tire walls of your car will not show up. So make sure you delete the blurred objects in the VRC formula alpha. But for this example, I've already deleted it. And yeah, that's that data folder sorted. Animations, just copy and paste the animations in. That's quite simple. If, and I've had it before, your halo of the car is sort of vertical, what you want to do is you just want to delete the halo, this animation for the halo hide thing here, and it should fix it out. It should sort it out rather. And that's it done. That's all you need to do to swap out the models. After that, you should be good to go. Also, don't forget, sorry, one more thing. Go into your content tab. You want to pack the data. By packing the data, you essentially, everything you've replaced in the data folder will then get replaced and loaded into the game. So once you've packed the data, then you should be good to go. So now I've loaded it up. Everything is good to go, apart from the sound. As you can see, I've got the car, got the tyres, got the driver, got the model, got the animations. Everything's good to go. The only thing that's not right at the moment is what you can see here. The wishbones. The wishbones are very down slanted. It looks like the car's way too low for the tyres and suspension. So we're going to need to change that. Also, the sound is not correct. So let me show you now. So to change the sound of the car, the easiest way I find is to go into the content tab for the car, replace sound, and then replace it with whatever sound you want. For me, that's the easiest way. There are other ways about changing the GUIDs and sound effects banks, but for me that is the easiest way to do it. Now, as you saw, our wishbones, or the car, was way too low, so creating that massive divot looking thing in the suspension. The way to change that is to go into your data folder, car.ini, and then change these values right here. So this is the X, Y, Z coordinates. So for this car, as it was too low, we want to raise this coordinate. So let's put it to 0.5, for example. It might be too high. Yeah, it will be too high. Let's do 0.25. Let's do 0.25 and let's see how that looks. Don't forget to save it also. We then want to pack the data to make sure that the data file gets saved. And then we'll load it up again. As you can see, the car is a little bit high now. I didn't quite get it right. That's just fine tweaking and just finding out what value works best. But as you can see, the car body is much higher now. So a 0.2 value would probably be the best here. But I'm not going to change it because that will just spend a lot of time doing that. As you can see, they're just there. My legs were flickering. Now, the legs are flickering because of an animation trying to be loaded by the VRC car initially. So the best way to fix that, which is what I probably should have done earlier, is to just, where are we? Red Bull RB20, VRC. It's just to get rid of all the animations. Just, get rid of them all, and then just copy and paste these into here, and you should be good to go. I believe that's everything from me. If I've missed something out or you guys have any questions, please just let me know in the comments, or join my Discord server, which is in the description below. Post your comment in the question and answers section and I'll be happy to help you, because I'm sure you won't be the only one having questions. But yeah, that's my basically just brief tutorial about how I create my videos. And yeah, please join my Discord server. I would be posting reshades, as well as other stuff to help you guys out if you guys want it. So yeah, thanks for watching.